Hey John, I want to show you what I'm looking at here. So here's your carburetor. We got it off. This hole down here, in this hole sits this orifice. It's actually called an emulsion tube. It's also a jet, but essentially its behavior is a valve. And down in this needle slides up and down in here all the time. And every time that you blip your throttle or you accelerate, this needle is sliding up and down in this assembly here. So it's hard to get it on camera, but on this needle in 2 or 3 different places, if we get in close enough, you'll see there's wear marks on it. So to correspond with the wear marks we're seeing on that, there's wear marks down in this. And it's hard to catch it on camera, but there's actually a really significant wear mark inside of this, right at the lip, right at the end here. And it's essentially ovaled this hole. And when this needle goes down in here, it needs to seal this completely at idle, and it's stopping the flow of fuel. And when this bike was running, I was looking at it just like we're looking at it right here. I was looking right down the middle here. And as the bike was idling, this flap was closed, which is your throttle flap. And I was watching fuel spilling out of this orifice here that the needle goes into, and it was just running down the bottom of the bowl and underneath that little bit of a crevice at the bottom of the flap and running into the motor. And you never want to have fuel just running out of any orifice in your carburetor. It has to be emulsifying. So the problem at hand was that there's a significant wear in here, and even with this needle seated all the way down in it, it's leaking. So we need this emulsion tube, and then we need this is actually a kit. It comes with the needle, the spacer, the spring, this little guy, the seal, everything you see right there, it comes with. Someone has changed the jetting in this. Down here beneath that tube that we were just talking about is your main jet. And it screws in right here. And it's sitting right down here. This guy right here is the main jet. And these 2 pieces are separate. We'll let the jet come out of there. This is your main jet here. And when we read the front of this little main jet, there's a number right down here. It says 170. So this bike came with a 165 main jet. It has a 170 in it. So someone has been in this carb. They've changed the main jet. They went up 5 points with it. So this is 5 points bigger than the original jet. That's about the biggest that I would ever recommend going on most just average carburetors that you're going to jet up. I usually don't jet them quite that high, but it depends on a motorcycle versus an ATV. You usually jet a motorcycle more than an ATV because of their size. So we can, if you want, we can order the original jet, or we can just go ahead and use the 170 that they've always had in it since you got it. I would expect we can probably get it to run properly with that 170 in it. Worst case scenario would be like we'd have to order a couple other jet sizes to change it. And the way that we would know is just how well the bike runs when you're driving it. Some of that has adjustability. As for your other jets, this is the Pilot jet, and it's still the original jet size. I would usually go up on a Pilot if I was going up on the main jet, which it appears they didn't do, but I couldn't find a marking on our back jet in here. I believe that's the start jet. It's unlikely they changed that if it's the start circuit jet. It's not really a performance jet. So that's where we're at with it. This that you're looking at right here, that's the float that I talked about being out of adjustment. It gets adjusted up by this little metal tab right here. So that has been readjusted, and the screw, which is on the bottom down here, has been set back to its factory specifications. So the only question that I have left at all is if this might be an aftermarket needle they put in this. It is adjustable. I'm not sure if the original one is adjustable or not. I'm going to have to do some research to find that out. And by adjustable, what I mean is this is a little circlip, a C-clip, and all those little lines, you can move it up and down to lean it out or to richen it to give it more or less fuel. So ideally, especially if you've messed with this jet that they replaced, ideally you want to have some adjustability here to make everything want to, play nicely, in the sense of, you've changed important parts of the carburetor, and now you have to tune it all back into place. So we can, this boot over here, which is also a little plunger assembly, it's your coasting enricher. That looks okay, but if you want to have that replaced preventatively, that can be done, as well as this is the boot that actuates the slide. Again, these both look okay, but if you want to do preventative maintenance and replace them based on their age, we can do that. I'll leave that completely up to you. If we want to be more cost effective, we can reuse these. We'll need this seal, although it's not leaking. It should be replaced. I've had this bowl off here several times to adjust that float that I told you about. So other than that, everything looks pretty good. That was the needle that was stuck for me, and I was able to finally get it free. So that's pretty much all we got.